got it. Good.
Test.
Hey, everybody. So anybody? Oh, there we go. There we go. Almost live. Almost.
Okay, one second.
We each have our own mics. We can hear each other. I don't think we need to put the big lips. Hey, everybody, the Renny Doyle Podcast, the afternoon edition. We don't usually do it, but this one's a really, really, really special one. And this is with Flex Tools out of Germany. I've got Team Flex with me right now. Two of the individuals are actually from the headquarters, which I've been to. Amazing, just outside of Stuttgart, Germany. Mm-hmm. And I am excited to introduce them. And we're going to have a really cool, just friendly discussion all about Flex and your guys' 100th birthday. So welcome. So introduce yourselves.
Thank you. Yeah, I can start. I'm Michael. I'm the product manager for the polishers and for the automotive topic in general at Flex. So I'm very happy to be here with you. You do an amazing job over here. So yeah.
Thank you.
My boss.
Welcome. Oh, I didn't know that. You're his boss?
Yeah.
Oh,
Renny,
man.
thank you for being here. My name is Michael Konrad. I'm the head of product management in Flex, and I'm aware of all of our power tools. And especially today, we are here for the polishers. And as Michael said, you do an amazing job here. Really cool. Thanks for being here. Thanks that you are using our tools. Really cool to see it.
Pretty awesome.
How amazing it is to see the Air Force One shining here back in the sun. Thank you.
There you go.
And my name's Chris Metcalf. I'm the key account manager for Flex in North America. And, we're excited to be here. And, Renny, this is our, how many years has Flex been used on this project?
I did the first test in 2008.
Wow.
We weren't convinced. We didn't know because the 3401 had just come out.
Yeah.
And so we brought it up and we were convinced at that point. So in 2009, we went full-fledged. And ever since then, we've tested other tools, as part of the, that's what we do, right? Is we test tools. But Flex has been a steady, the tool of choice for Air Force One since 2008.
I think it comes down to unique the tool is, and the gear driven and the forced action. But it's interesting. This is my fourth year here on the project, and it's like every time we're here, we have different obstacles. The plane is in different condition every time we come here.
Oh yeah,
because of the elements in the air and the way it's stored here and things like that.
Well, you gotta remember. Let's go all the way back. 2002, I did the test spot right here. Matter of fact, right in back of us. That was the proving grounds, and I had to prove to the Department of Defense. I had to prove to the Air Force. I had to prove to Boeing, and the Museum of Flight. There's a lot of people to prove, and it took several months. In 2003, we actually did it. At that time, the planes, these planes were actually outside with no roof line. It wasn't until 2016, so 6 years ago, that this building was finishing up. Air Force One was here. The 747 was here. Concorde was here, but that was it. None of the other planes were in here yet. And so it really took a beating prior to that time. And this has made a huge difference. One of these days, probably in my career, the sidewalls would be on this building. But this was I want to say it was like a $50 million, program to build this huge hangar, for these aircraft. So let's talk about, you mentioned something, Chris, and we'll have you guys. We've gotten eyes on some new goodies. Wish we could bring them out, but we can't.
Yeah.
But the uniqueness of forced action, the forced action tool is we often say this: if you take a DA polisher and you took a rotary and they had a baby, is that baby would be a beast mode 3401.
I've never heard that, but that's a good it's a good way to look at it.
It really is. It's the two
best combination out of two worlds.
That's it. Yeah. The two were single and ready to mingle, and they came together, and they developed this amazing tool, and it's pretty cool. And I want to point out right behind us. I mean, we don't want to interrupt the guys making it happen, right? I mean, these guys are sitting right behind us, and here's the reality too: is these guys have learned the beauty of forced action technology and the quality of flex. In the early days, we worked 14 hours a day for 10 days. So do the math on that.
Yeah.
Those polishers were going for 140 hours, and most of that was pretty much straight through. And we have very little problems. That was the other reason we switched over, is we weren't breaking tools. We've had a couple of breaks here, but all of these tools are multiple years old, and they're not being ran underneath normal conditions. And we have really enjoyed the Flex line because we just don't have downtime. The tools are reliable.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Every one of your guys has the correct extension cord, which I'm a big advocate on.
Which
promoting.
is what's
that's the 12 gauge.
Yeah,
no more than 50 foot, and you guys, have the big junction boxes under each one of the stations or under each one of the planes, and you're running those big extension cords. That makes a big deal on how the tool performs and how it's going to last. But it's so funny that you mentioned some of the guys that have been on this project for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
They still have the exact same polisher. They don't want to get rid of that polisher because they're talking with you guys and asking you like, hey, what am I going to expect to replace on this tool next? Because I haven't replaced anything, but they want to keep that tool and use it on this project every time.
We just sent, we have our training center tools serviced we say twice a year. We can't go without them. So it's once a year. So we just had one batch serviced recently, and one of the tools that went was my original 3401.
Wow.
And it came back serviced, and it went right back into operation. Yeah. That tool was built in 08.
Wow.
In 08, and it's still going. And you really can't tell the difference between it and a model that's a year old. If I couldn't go into my tool cabinet and say, oh, that's it, I can't tell. It's held up that well.
Michael, what are like the 4 components on our tool that we need to be concerned about? What do you consider like an oil change on your polisher?
Oil, the fork, we have to concerning.
What would you say? Like carbon brushes, switches?
Carbon brushes, switches, yeah, for sure, because they are in daily use. Then the carbon brushes, it's a worn-out material.
Did you already said his 2010 Flex is still going? How cool is that? Hey, this is as raw gets. Yeah. This is real. So how cool is that? I mean, and Adam runs a really successful shop, a very busy shop. For him to have a tool that's 12 years old and going at it, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So what's the tune-ups we need to do?
The grease maybe, sometimes
in the head,
sometimes in the head.
But the easy stuff that people do are like carbon brushes, switches,
definitely.
Maybe a cord or a speed control. Perfect. Those are all easy things that you can take care of yourself.
When I ran shops before I sold my shops, we did the cord change out ourselves. It'd take me about 10 minutes, to put a new cord in.
It's easy.
We'd go in, and when I'd break open the case, we'd clean it up, blow it out, get all the gunk out of it, replace the cord, and then we were good to go.
Just a few screws.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. So Flex. Let's go back to the heritage of Flex. I've been on the floor, right in the factory. Pretty amazing because so many of the components. It's not just the tools assembled there. The components are actually built there. So talk about the legacy, right? I mean, and you guys aren't going. Something that needs, I can't remember how much copper wire the 3401 has in it.
Hello.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great way to say it.
The machine winds it so fast you can't even focus on it.
It does, but I remember being there, and they had to service the machine that did it, and one of them only had half of the copper on it, and I remember looking at the difference, and I was like, "That's a lot of copper."
That's where the power comes from. The more copper you have, the more power you have then.
Well, so then we need one that's got like this much copper in it. We're detailers,
Then we have to balance the advantages.
It's people say sometimes they'll ask me, they say, how'd you get big arms? And I was like, detailing.
Well, that's a question I get at SEMA. When we're at SEMA a lot of times, Renny, and I put the 3401 or the Beast in someone's hands, or really any of our Flex units, and sometimes they'll make a comment, well, it's a little bit heavier than what I have. And what they have is maybe, an entry-level polisher,
right?
And I'm trying to explain to them like that's really the difference in an entry-level polisher.
It's an industrial strength machine.
This is what makes the difference when it comes to overload capacity, for example. That you do it 6 hours in a row. I don't know. Then you need overload capacity. And the more copper, for example, you have, then the more overload capacity you have. This is the top of the pyramid.
We were on our podcast, and you guys can go back and verify this. I'm not BSing. We're on our podcast this morning. We're about halfway through, and the guys are all working around us. They're up polishing, and all of a sudden, I hear and I look over, and there's a 3401 bouncing off the ground.
Oh, geez.
It dropped off one of the engines, and I don't know if you guys can see the engines from here, but it was probably about 5 feet off the ground. Hit the ground. The guy got down, picked it up, dusted it off, and went back to work. And so there's the quality. So, being on the floor, being where you guys manufacture them, seeing the engineering side of it, all of that really legitimizes it. Now, some of the questions that I hear, I know the answers to these, by the way. Some of them I might not, but it's you guys are a part of a very large organization.
Yeah, but first of all, let me just go into that what you said before, that we have a 100-year history. And Renny, do you know what kind of machine we did 100 years ago? And it's exactly 100 years because we were founded in 2022. And the first machine we invented was a motor driven with a flexible shaft, and in front of it they put a cone for polishing metal. So it was the first machine we invented 100 years ago, was a polisher. So we have a 100-year knowledge in doing polishers, and this is what we've done so far. Even the 3401 is done in Steinheim, developed by engineers. They'd never done nothing else than polishers, so we developed it there. That's cool. Also, due to the reason that we are there, have a brushed engine inside, it's also engineered and manufactured in Steinheim. So this is a really cool thing, and therefore it is quality. And maybe this is one learning I take with me back to Germany, that we have here machines which run since 12 years without problems.
Right.
So our quality is too
good.
No, just joking. Just joking.
Right.
No, but really, we make this really as a manufacturer in Germany with German parts in Steinheim, and I think this is unique for polishers.
It really is, so, and it's people will ask because you're such a big company.
Right.
Do you guys outsource? And the answer is no. I've been there on the floor, and I've seen the tools being made.
Renny, this is something that I pointed out to you when we first got purchased by Shervon. Shervon came in and bought Flex about 8 years ago, and has run the company the same way as when they purchased the company.
Yeah.
The big difference is that Shervon is one of the largest power tool manufacturers in the world, and to be honest with you, I don't know where we are as far as the battery manufacturing, but we make some of the best batteries in the market today. That some of our other brands are Ego, that's under our umbrella, in the lawn and garden department.
Take my money. Just take my money because I've got
the Ego stuff is the leading product in the lawn and garden department, and everybody is following that battery technology because they've worked so long on it. And that battery technology then rolls over into our other brands like Skill and Skill Sol, as well as Flex.
And this is a good point, Chris. Because due to the reason that we have the chance together with Shervon to have our own battery system, we do not have to look to others and what they are doing. Can we get their batteries, for example, as other manufacturers? So we have our own platform, we have our own system. We have a direct way to get the cells. We produce them by our own. This is an advantage. You see in the polishing business. I think nobody else can do this.
Absolutely.
And this is also the reason why we are, I think, with the battery-driven polishers, we are on the top level. Yeah. So even our range we have right now is on a very good level. But I can promise you, Renny, we are working already on a new version, which is surely on the top level, so that we do not have to think about should I take a version with cord or should I take a version with battery. Yeah. So it's absolutely the way to get convenience, and therefore we are have the great chance together with Shervon and the battery knowledge, and there's a real great battery knowledge. You know it as ego
No.
user, that we
Yeah,
have
it's
that kind of batteries. We have that kind of batteries, and even here in United States, we have Flex with the new cells, which
all
are
the hand
pouch
tools.
cells.
Yeah,
So
all the drills and
yeah,
impact and everything else.
And
We use
therefore-
all of those too.
yeah, and in my personal opinion, so you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the future will be battery. The future is battery driven.
You know,
And-
I tell classes, every single, Chris will confirm this. I tell every single class, listen, in our careers, we will get to the point just like electricians did back in the 70s to where it's rare we pick up a corded tool.
Yep.
You can't go
in
into
our
a home
career-
center and buy
No.
a corded drill anymore.
No,
you
and
really
it's,
can't.
no. And so it in our careers, the technology is going to go to a spot to where you guys keep on developing such innovative tools that are battery powered that it just won't make sense to
Yeah.
plug in anymore.
Exactly.
And what I like now is even with your current battery tools is that it's a quick charge. So I go through it on average. I'm a big fan of forced action, and so your forced action battery unit. I use it for 30 to 40 minutes, pretty, not continually.
Yep.
Using it, set it down, wipe, inspect, use it, set it down. So we'll go through for about 40 minutes, but it only takes 30 to 40 minutes for the other battery to charge. So I don't run out of battery.
And you got the LCD right on the battery charger that tells you exactly how long it takes to charge.
Exactly. I mean, so it's just, so let's go backwards a little bit. So let's go back to 1922. Could you imagine they're taking and developing this flex head polisher? Could you imagine the innovation with those people that developed your company and looking where we're at today? I mean, think about that for a second. 100 years ago, World War I had just ended. They're flying biplanes or triplanes. You guys had just built a tool to polish some metal, and now 100 years later, we're sitting here polishing metal on a jet aircraft.
Yeah.
Renny, interesting point. We just traveling around the United States. I started 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, and I saw a shop where our polisher were at advertisement in the outside. And I told to my colleague, is it weird? Mr. Ackerman and Mr. Schmidt, these are the two guys, the founders, 100 years ago. Do they think about that they have an advertisement in Las Vegas, in the desert, in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, who would ever know?
Yeah, and I think it's weird. And even if I stand here and see that the amazing amount of machines we have here, 30 or 40 machines from Flex are running and cleaning the machine, I even don't know if Mr. Ackerman and Mr. Schmidt, who set up the company under the brand Ackerman and Schmidt in downtown Stuttgart. It was in Bad Cannstatt. It's really downtown Stuttgart. I don't even believe it. So it's enormous what we've done in 100 years history. Really, it's
so you guys haven't heard this story, okay? Chris may have. So I'm sitting in your guys', I'm a Porsche nut. We've talked about that. I like all cars, but man, I'll tell you, I got a crush on Porsche, So I'm sitting in your guys' office, and I think it was Thilo and Bob Eckelberg walked up to me. Bob Eichelberg and Thilo look at me and they go, "We got a surprise for you." I said, "What?" They said, "Come on, let's go get in the car." And about a short time later, we're pulling up to Porsche. Well, we walk in and I think, okay, cool. We're going to get to see Porsche. No, they opened the back doors and we got to see not only the museum, but we got to see the restoration center. Not many people. And so I've always had a crush on Flex too, because I got to see the backside of Porsche, and I was like a little 14-year-old girl in the 60s watching the Beatles. Yeah. I lost my mind, but I did get in trouble while I was there. And here's how: is they had an American 912 RS on display.
Wow.
And exactly, wow. And so I said, wow. I said, that's really cool. And I said, that's an American, that car was in America. And the young gentleman says, no, that color combo never went to America. I said, I beg to differ. I said, that color wasn't, it was a limited production, and it did like 275 cars for 1 year of the RS going there. And he goes, no, they never sent it to America. Well, the curator, guy about probably 60 at that time. He goes over and gets him, speaks to him in German, comes over to him, and he goes, "What's your name?" And I introduce myself. He shakes my hand and he goes, "You know your Porsche because that car came from California.
Oh,
that was an American car that we brought back." And you're exactly right, except you missed it. We sent 276 to America, not 275.
Yeah.
So I got in a little trouble because I was telling Porsche their business. So right. So, but I know Porsche. I love my Porsches. I love my Porsche.
Yeah.
So, and we got even on the. I mean, we got on the paint line. We got. I mean, it was just. It was a joint venture between your team and Sonex that did that.
Nice.
So I've always been thankful for that visit because it really did change my life. It was such a. I'll never forget it. I remember every part of it. I recorded almost every single square inch of it. On my iPad, and then they realized I was recording it and made me delete it because they didn't want the backside scene, which I was fine.
Yeah.
So let's go forward. So 100 years, first 100 years. You guys are I know you guys are in a lot of concrete industry, for instance. A lot
Renovation.
Right. You can do drywall. You got the
drywall,
giraffe, right? See,
Yeah.
I know my flex. And now with with Shervon coming into it. That technology, it's a Chinese company. I've met the owner, the founder, Peter Pan.
Chris.
Yeah.
I've been able to take and meet your folks in Chicago at the main office. Wonderful people. What I've noticed with Flex from the outsider, we didn't even talk about this, is I think by getting this giant company to partner with you guys, is what it's done is it's opened up a whole nother level of technology across the board for you and for them because they want German engineering and German precision, and you want the innovation that the Chinese are bringing to the table. So explain that. Have you seen that difference?
Well, I mean, I can tell you. I mean, I was there when the founders of our company, Peter and Stephanie, and the others from Shervon came to Steinheim and met with the factory and presented to the factory that the company was being purchased, but they had the mayor of Stuttgart was there with our current CEO. I believe it was Andreas at the time, was there, and he assured the factory that I purchased the business because I want the German innovation. I want the German factory. I don't want to disrupt the business or anything like that. And I think that meant a lot to the factory workers. I know they invested instantly into the factory, not into the offices. The offices stayed original.
Yeah.
And the whole building and everything needed a facelift, but when they first purchased us, they invested in the factory.
I was there right before they did that, and I was there right after they did it.
That's right.
And it was a nice change, and it was cool to see the innovation and
we just finished the actual offices. So 8 years later, they worked on the offices, and not sure what that is, but
no idea what that was. UFO.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens here.
Exactly. There is.
But anyways, so we just finished our offices, a full facelift and renovation.
Yep.
And if you're on social media next week when we have our 100th anniversary celebration, you'll see a lot of our new office and our new facility and things like that. So it's exciting.
It's pretty cool. Well, we've got a plan. We had a plan. We were all talking about it. Okay, so let's go a little personal for a second. First off, Chris and I before COVID, we got invited both jointly to go to Malco.
Malco,
Great friends of ours, right?
Yeah.
Just super people. Big fans of Flex Tools. So when we're there, they decided to send us as a gift to race school at Mid Ohio.
Wow.
And you just got to ask Chris, and one of you guys can if you want to, of who won.
Hey, so Renny, that story starts out, we started the morning and you go through a little bit of in the classroom, kind of how do you drive the car, turn signals. It literally starts at the basic.
Yeah.
And then you get into a car, you choose an automatic or a manual. Obviously, Renny and I were both in manual transmissions.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember. It was an Acura TL, I think.
Yeah, they're the one they don't make it anymore. It's a rear-wheel drive powerhouse that was souped up.
It was souped up. High performance brakes and the whole 9 yards. We were doing brake tests, acceleration tests, corner. Doing all the corner testing, and then we got out on the track. And that's where it really got interesting. There was an actual professional in the car. The lead car was always the professional driving.
Yeah.
And he basically told us before we raced, he said, wherever you are on my bumper, I'll continue to stay ahead of you. So, we can push him as hard as we wanted.
Yeah.
And Renny and I pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And the funny thing is there were other people on the track with us. But when they realized that we were really out there to race, they had to tell the other people to
Get off
go
the
off
track.
They got off to the side and let us go by.
Oh yeah, they took them off.
So-
They pitted us.
Yeah.
Brought us back in and started all over again. And they switched drivers, professional drivers, because we were going to pass their
We
driver.
were having fun.
So Chris, I rag on him, but Chris and I can't remember the
It
gentleman's
was
name.
Jason.
There you go. From we all three were pretty dang good drivers, and now I was the old man of the group. We were all the old men of the group, and none of them could keep up with us. Even the instructors, like when we went through the skid training and stuff, they were like, okay. And so they took the three of us and pulled us off to the side, and they said, okay, we're going to go over and show you guys braking. If you do good on this, we're going to go into the full-fledged race training. If you do good on this, then we're going to take you out on the track. And we probably had double the track time as anybody else, because I think the instructors were a little worried that we were going to beat their instructors. They had to put the old guy at the wheel, and at the end he told us that he was taking the car to the maximum potential to keep us from. We couldn't pass him, but he couldn't pull away from us. And we got a little aggressive. I learned something about Chris. Chris can drive, man.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my jobs, I worked. I used to work at an arcade, and at night at the arcade, we had go-karts. We had a nice little racetrack. We knew how to soup up the go-karts.
Yeah.
So we'd go out
Take
there
the
at night.
governors off.
And, we were.
That's fun.
That's where I learned to
Cool.
race. To be honest
That's
with you. It
funny
was
because
fun.
you did that. We didn't have this discussion. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I worked at a go-kart track when I was young, and we take
Nice.
the governors off and go race them. So both of that's why.
Many
You're
of
not going
these-
to
of
on a
these-
go-kart track. You're
No,
not going to
no.
pass me.
So Jason was
Okay.
just a damn good driver
That's
too.
a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Next
fun.
to the hotel is a
Acceptable.
go-kart. You
Yeah.
saw?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
tonight,
yeah,
But it's funny because many of these Formula One drivers, they started with go-kart
yeah,
driving then.
yeah. You guys ever buy a Formula One? I'll drive.
Yeah.
I'll drive.
We do Mario Kart.
There you go. Right? Yeah. So
next, you have to come to Germany, and then
So-
we go to the Autobahn.
well, that's one of my favorite places.
No speed limit.
I take in every time I'm there, and this last time I've rented a couple of nice cars when I'm there, and then Andreas he had a nice Porsche, and so Andreas and I we shared some moments together. We bonded at high speed. So now you've got not the average German vehicles. So
No, this is really interesting. So it started with a kind of Milwaukee steel.
yeah,
So I bought in 2000 a Harley Davidson. I was a young student. Originally, I would like to buy a Ducati M900 Monster, but I missed the. I was looking in the paper where you can buy the used bikes. We had no internet, so I looked in the paper and I changed the color and said, "Oh, Harley Davidson! Wow, for that price!" So I bought a Harley Davidson. I drove it 10 years. Until my first son was born, and I made everything on this Harley Davidson. I lowered it a little bit. I make an ape hanger on it.
Oh, see, yeah.
It was the original color, the green of the police beetle in Germany.
Oh, wow.
I bought it directly from Volkswagen, the small can, and they painted me a big airbrush on the
That's
gas tank.
cool. That's cool.
So it was really, really cool. I loved it. But my son was born, and I said, okay, let's sell
time to
it.
get rid of the bike.
Yeah, let's sell the bike. But before I sold the bike, I owned 2 years together a Dodge Charger SRT8.
That's so cool.
It was the best car ever in my life. 6.1 liters V8 Hemi. I loved it. Two spark plugs per cylinder. Oh, I love this car.
Did people look at you like you were crazy when you were driving around?
The funny thing is that
he's a crazy driver.
I'm a crazy
That's
driver,
awesome.
and the funny
You must
thing
drive.
is, this car was never sold in Germany.
Really?
So I was one of maybe hundreds in Germany who owned this car.
Wow.
And the reason why I bought this was during the test drive. The guy from whom I sold this car, bought this car, we were standing at a traffic light, and I was looking in the car around. Nice leather, cool steering wheel, radio. It was the big one with the satellite radio and so on. And the guy said, "Hey, look!" And a small boy was standing at the traffic light and taking with his mobile a picture of the car.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
I said to the guy, I said, "Stop it! I pay everything."
Yeah, right now.
So, and
take my
on
money.
Each gas station, the guys asked, "Wow, what is this car?" And it was so loud. And and the fastest thing, this I must tell you, in front of the airport in Frankfurt, you have a four-way highway.
Yeah.
It's very unique in Germany, but it was empty Sunday night, and I was putting the pedal to the metal, and the race car really gone 300 kilometers per hour.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, I love the Charger. Yeah, but then I got kids.
Yep.
And we
Mellow
need to buy a
out.
Volkswagen.
Mellow out. It's okay. They'll grow up and go on, and you'll get your toys. Well, Chris will tell you right now that off the track, I'm a very mild driver. I'm a very conservative, safe driver.
Oh yeah.
Right, Chris? I drive very, very. I'm an old lady driver on the street. Right, Chris?
Very old lady.
Yeah, very old lady.
Very old lady.
Yeah, it's we were coming down the other day and I did a maneuver and I forgot my wife was in the car with me. And I looked over and I thought she had how do you say the word we just said in German? Yeah, there you go. I think that was her moment, and she says, "How often do you do this when I'm not in the car?" And I said, "Oh man, all the time." I mean, usually not with you in the car. So now, are you a car guy?
Absolutely.
I'm addicted to cars because after school I became a car mechanic. Basically.
Did you?
Yeah.
Ah.
Education 3.5 years for Volkswagen and Audi.
Oh,
So
dang.
German cars.
Yeah.
And I was always with the Volkswagen.
There you go.
Started with a Golf Mark III.
Yeah. Oh, cool car. Great
Then
car.
Mark VI.
Yeah.
And now I have a VW Tiguan.
Oh, there you
Tiguan
go.
Allspace,
Yeah.
diesel.
Ah, I've got, it's gone. It goes away here shortly. But I have a Subaru WRX STI, and I almost got the Golf R instead, but they didn't have the color I wanted. So I went with but you know, it's funny because I've gotten to the point that's been a fun car. My mellow driving blew the engine at just over 20,000 miles. So, oops. But it was under warranty, and Subaru was gracious enough to give me a new motor, for it. So now let's move ahead. Let's get back to Flex. But I love to prove that people are car guys. So we just verified that. You know, you guys are car guys. It's in our blood. You know, you can't be I just don't think that you can be in an industry and not be passionate about it. So it's cool that you guys are, you came all the way from, Germany to be here. And B, that you've got that passion, that bloodline, right? And all of us, all four of us got it. Chris is car nuts. He's got way too many cars. I think he's got more. You got more than me, or you will here shortly, right? Yeah, you're going to be ahead of me. He's got a disease.
I like that Baja.
Yeah,
that Baja
it's
you have.
a
That's
disease.
sweet.
Okay.
He's
Take
got,
that down to the beach.
yeah, he's,
No, I don't. Doesn't leave the garage out there.
Does it? No?
yeah.
You got
yeah.
a trailer it everywhere you
He's-
take it?
Yeah. No, he drives it.
Doesn't
He
go
drives
anywhere.
it. So let's go. Let's look at, we talked about the 100 years. Let's talk about the next 100 years. Where's Flex? We talked about battery. You really think, is it heavily headed that way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this before, Renny, how long it takes for these guys to develop tools. These are the guys right here.
Right
They're
here.
on they're on this project, your project, to ask your team of people, what they're looking for in the future. We have a 3-page, questionnaire that we're going to hand out to everybody and ask, what do you want to see? What do you want to see different? And we care about that. We want to listen to the industry and really make our roadmap based on what people ask
Well,
for.
I can already tell you this. I want a robotic polisher that will automatically do all the work and do it in an
That's
hour. Somewhere in there. So if you can just get a robotic polisher that will get the car done in an hour, you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
The coolest thing, though, is anything that Flex comes out with, anything that Flex puts its name on, it's gone through the research and development. And I mean, honestly, we always have a bar. So when they're developing a tool, we look at other things that are in the industry. We don't make exactly what it is, but we have a bar set and we want to beat that bar.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So we don't take another product and dip it in plastic and remake it. they make it specific for flex,
Mhm.
but they have that bar and they always want to beat that bar.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I really dig, we're at a time frame where there's so many great tools, across the board, right?
Mhm.
Credit to the industry.
Mhm.
Wasn't that way all that long ago? Wasn't. And now you guys, I've never had a flex tool, and I've owned. I'm not kidding you. I won't say more than anybody else in the U.S.
Yeah.
But pretty
Possibly,
close.
yeah,
I've got a
possibly, yeah.
big collection of flex tools, and I've never had a bad one. Never. I mean, I'm going to restate that.
Mhm.
I've not gotten a flex tool. Well, I've heard people get something that out of like we'll bottle something in a bottle every once in a while, a double black,
Mhm.
and the bottle will have a leak in it.
Yeah.
You're going to have that.
Yeah.
So we've had situations, rare situations, but I've never had a lemon tool.
Yeah.
So a lemon tool, does it make sense in Germany? A lemon is
Yeah,
what we call
yes.
something that's just not
Yeah.
right.
We say Gurke.
Yeah.
Maybe
There you go.
Gurke.
So
Yeah.
explain what we do in the factory. The last step in the factory. Why do we not have lemons?
Why do we never have limits?
Yeah. Why do we not have out of box failures?
Because we do 100% testing at the end.
On the
And
tool.
then-
Every tools get tested.
Yep.
And I know Rennie's heard me say this, but in every single box, there's a little yellow tag.
Yep.
And that little yellow tag is the supervisor on duty
Yep.
that day.
Signs
Yeah.
off.
And whenever
on
I
it.
call Germany and say that we had this issue out of box,
Yeah.
they always ask me for that yellow tag. And that person, I don't know if this is true or not, but that person gets 3 strikes and they're out. No, I don't know if that's true, but the bottom line, they want to understand
Yeah.
when that tool was manufactured, what the scenarios
Yeah.
were,
Yeah.
and then how can we solve it? Was it
Yeah.
legitimately out of box failure or not?
Immediately.
But
Yeah.
Chris, it started not at the end of the production. It started now, when we are here, when we have prototypes with us. You can check them. You can have them. This is the reason why our projects are not lasting. Not your duration is 6 months. So we have our projects are 1.5 years
Right.
because we are testing from the beginning on, and we want to understand what is your purpose, what are you doing with the machine, and how do you treat the machine.
This is
And
our
this is-
main target, to be as close as possible to you guys, because you are the users and the customers.
And
We
we have
sell
a,
the tools to you. We want to offer you the best possible solutions, because otherwise we would do happy engineering.
Yeah.
This would
and we
make
have a lot
sense.
of quality gates to
Yeah.
reach in our project, and therefore we can say at the end we have a product which is perfectly engineered.
Yeah.
And then of course the manufacturing, they also have the quality gates to
Yeah.
check at the end how the machine is working. But it really begins at the beginning of the engineering.
Yeah.
So and therefore I think we have a real great possibility also due to the to our mother company, to Cherwon, because they give us the option to or give us the time and the option to develop and engineer a product at its best
That's
until
cool.
the finish, until we say now it's good for the professional, for you to do the daily job. So this
This
is
is our main target, to be as close as possible to you.
Yes, absolutely. So go into the future, battery technology's there. We all know that. I mean, you go into a store, Chris, you said earlier, you just can't. It's hard to find an actual corded drill. I mean, I can't. And honestly, I don't want one.
Yeah.
And we're headed that way. So how rapidly is battery technology changing? Is it changing rapidly right now?
absolutely, yeah. And it's the most driver is the car industry for
Isn't
sure.
that crazy?
So they buy the most cells and everything.
Worldwide.
So worldwide. And as you see, we just launched this year our stacked lithium. So it's a pouch cell in this pack. It's stacked lithium. It's not anymore a round cell.
Mhm.
It's a flat cell. So
Ah.
it's absolutely unique. So we
Wow.
are one of the first power
What's the benefit? What's the benefit of that?
runtime,
Really?
charging time,
More power.
and of
Muscle.
course the weight.
Oh,
Not the
really?
muscle,
The weight?
Yeah, you can put more layers
Uh-huh.
in the same size.
Ah,
So you got more, or you can put, of course,
interesting. See, I
So
didn't-
the best
I didn't know that.
explanation that I've heard about the stacked lithium comes from our North American product team, and basically they describe it like the current battery is like a one lane freeway or a one lane off ramp and a one lane on ramp. So
Yeah.
now the new stacked lithium is like 6 lanes going off the freeway at once, basically charging the battery, and then 6 lanes going off, back onto that freeway. So
Wow.
the path of energy is really what it comes down to.
Right.
And I'm not kidding you. The new stacked lithium, the 24 volt stacked lithium that we have with Flex available now, is 300% more power. It doesn't make the tool more powerful. It gives you a longer runtime.
Absolutely. It's not eating the battery up
And
as
it can
fast.
charge 200% faster than the current lithium batteries.
Wow,
It's just
that's
crazy.
amazing.
And that's really the next generation of lithium.
Absolutely.
You're going to start to hear the car manufacturers talk about these flat lithium cells.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah.
Hey, did you guys see the video out? The video of the AA modeled the new Mercedes Benz.
No.
No, not yet.
You got to go look. You got to go look up to YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'm being a smart aleck.
Yeah.
There's a spiff video that Saturday Night Live did. You guys, if you haven't seen it, go look at the AA model Mercedes Benz video. You guys being in the tool industry and the battery industry, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
It's got, put it this way, it's a movie star, and she goes, this new Mercedes is powered by 9,648 AA batteries, all replaceable. It is funnier than heck. She goes, matter of fact, she's inside the car. She goes, worried about battery power. She goes, you don't have to replace the whole battery. You can replace one. Matter of fact, right here on the screen, you can push a button and it will tell you which battery's running low. And all of a sudden it goes, battery 48, battery 62, battery 72, battery 82. And it just goes, red. It's funnier than heck.
Cool.
So maybe I think I saw it.
It's pretty funny.
I think
It's pretty
so.
funny. And so moving ahead, Flex, 100 years later, how important is the automotive industry to you guys?
Especially for me, it's very important.
It's there, right? Good job. You hope it goes to the top of the list.
Yeah, for sure. With my tools.
I mean,
Yeah.
I really think, Renny, that cars affect all of us. Anybody that's watching this right now has 1 or 2 or 6 in their garage.
Normal people and
normal
troubled
people.
individuals,
I mean, the bottom line, we all have cars. I feel accomplished when I wash my car, when I detail my car.
You can come do mine. You'll feel
Yeah,
that much more accomplished.
But think about it. Every time you finished a car in your career, did you stand back and look at it and go, holy shit, this feels good.
Yeah. I got to say, if you don't walk out, if you're not going into a store and you don't turn around, the old saying, if you don't turn around and look at your car, you're driving the wrong car.
Yeah.
It's why I could never drive a Prius.
Yeah.
Just not going to turn around and look at a Prius, never. But it's so I take it, there's the detailing industry is changing. I mean, like the battery industry, it's rapid change, right? And so I think that people will be glad to hear that, Flex is dedicated to the automotive industry and moving ahead because, a lot of people are vested into your company.
Yeah.
They bought it and they bought the tools and they're champions. They're fans, and so they want to see that it's sticking aside. So moving ahead, so we've got any little sneak peeks that you guys can talk about, or
I would tell you August 1st on Flex Automotive Instagram and Flex Automotive social media that we will be announcing an exciting limited edition polisher. So that polisher, when it's announced and you get to see it for the first time, I think it'll be exciting to the industry. And around that same time, you'll be able to place your orders through your dealers. So
we might have seen 1 or 2 of them here, just 1 or 2 or 6 of them maybe.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
August 1st is kind of our announcement date for that, and we're excited to put that out to the market, and it really is a dedication to our 100 years, and
Absolutely.
that's really
special.
Christian Neuner put this project together, and he was the mind behind it. And I remember his first call, which honestly was almost a year ago to me, and he just said, he's like, I want to do something special for the automotive industry, and what can I do? And we came up with this idea, and it's exciting. I'm excited to
really
announce it.
did was special. What's something special?
You guys worked really hard on the project,
We
as well
did
as our
something
marketing
special.
team.
Yeah, really.
So,
Well, I saw this a light edition of this back in Florida. but I didn't hear the whole story behind it. It's got a really cool story that I can't wait for you guys to go public with. We'll keep our lips are sealed until then.
Okay.
But it we can't wait for it to do, and it's I know the guys and gals here are really excited about it. So with that,
But good point is, Renny, you ask after what is happening in 100 years, in the next 100 years.
yes.
So also the way to polish. Is it still rotary? Is it still?
Oh yeah,
Any-
yeah.
We have also, for example, sonic polishing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is the thing we are thinking about, and I can promise you that we are really think hard about how can we change the way of polish.
Well,
And also robotic is an interesting point. Everybody is doing robotic.
yeah, they are.
So
what's going to
maybe
happen?
we think also about it, I better to say we have to think about it because the market in all other business is turning around.
Well,
So-
we put science to work in detailing shops, and a lot of people don't think about detailing in science, but we measure paint, and more. I mean, I bet the number of craftsmen measuring paint has grown by 20 times in the last 5 years. What we're noticing with this, and paint correction is going to change. It's changed already in the last 5 years. Even the adjustments we've had to make across the board with rotary, with forced action, and with DA. Here's why. The manufacturers are using less and less film or paint, clear coat, whatever you want to call it, on the cars. We're seeing numbers that wouldn't have been thought of just 5 years ago. Well, guess what? As inflation goes up, as expenses goes up, and also as I hate to say this, greed with these big companies, these auto manufacturers goes up, is you're going to see less and less paint on it. So it's not even a choice of changing. You have to change. For instance, using a rotary on factory paint, it's become critical that we don't do that because it's not that the rotaries have had tool. The rotary in an automotive collision center is a great tool, but on factory new paints, we're getting dangerously low film numbers that technology is not the best way to go,
But now think on an intelligent polisher. What happens if the polisher tells you, hey, stop, it's too low.
Oh, wow.
Stop now.
Right, absolutely.
So it's measured the whole time, the whole polishing process.
There you go. There's where I wanted to go with this.
Think about this.
There you go.
So maybe this is the future of polishing. I think so.
He's taking notes.
Even the robotic stuff that you guys had,
Yeah.
you posted last week on Instagram. The girl that had the leg extensions and
Exoskeleton. This is also a thing.
Because we're thinking in systems, so it's not not the polisher only. So it's system, all the around.
Who would have ever thought? Let's go back to there's a tie-in with an American automotive company and a German automotive company when Ford developed the assembly line, and then when robotic painting happened, Porsche took a lot of the innovations that Ford used and knew the Fords, and actually came over and got a lot of information on their production line from Ford, and then took it back and put the Porsche twist on it. And then now look at it. Who would have guessed 50, 60 years ago that our cars would be painted robotically? Your painters would have told you that's not possible. Detailers are going to tell you it's not possible to polish a car robotically. Well, I beg to differ. If they can paint it, they can polish it. And I'm all about that. I'd love to I'm about making money and profitability. And, the weakest link in any business, I hate to say this, especially in the day and age, we're seeing it firsthand, is staff. And we're pushing. Everybody says, oh, robots are pushing people out of the place of business. No. People, we're having struggles with people these days wanting to work. And especially
look at every McDonald's you walk in. Now some McDonald's, when you walk in, they won't even greet you, and you have to literally go up to the computer and place your order.
And that's why I don't go to McDonald's.
There you go.
I
will never go there either.
Interaction. I just don't. But well, fellas, it's been really nice. So let's talk about how do people get a hold of Flex? Because we've got Flex North America, we got the European. Is there a one-stop shopping on social media where they can just go check out kind of the latest and greatest for Flex? So where would that be?
In North America, we definitely have flexpowertools.com.
Okay.
That's our main website.
Right.
And other parts of the world that are watching this, flex-tools.com. We do have a couple different social media platforms, and the reason being is because, we want the automotive segment to be focused on automotive, and we do
Absolutely.
have our general, Flex, power tools, Instagram, and things like that. But Flex Automotive is also really another social media group that you want to join on all platforms.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
One last question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite Flex automotive tool? Got to name it.
It's the PE 14-2.
Oh, that's a nice
Yeah.
tool. That's the
It's a
smooth-
rotary, but
It is.
yeah.
But that is, we were just talking about that last week with somebody. Nope. I mean, I love all the tool companies, right? No harm done, but that nothing on the market is as smooth as the 14-2. I mean, it is so good choice.
Yes, I like.
On the perspective of polisher, of course, the PXE or
Okay.
PXE.
Yep.
But of the perspective of an auto mechanic, I love our recipe saw.
Oh, there you go.
It's so strong.
It
and
is.
You can cut everything.
Hey,
I love it. I love the recipe saw.
when I was in Germany,
Don't
they told
give it to him.
Yeah,
No.
I have two, so it's perfect.
they used to they call something in Germany when they do something they say flex it. Was that tool?
No,
No.
It's an angle grinder.
There you go.
Yeah.
I remember this is cool because when in Germany that when you want an angle grind, you don't
No.
get it. You
But
can
this is
flex
the
it.
history. Sorry, in 1950 back, so 50 years, no, more than 50 years in past, we invented the first fast grinding angle grinder, our DL9.
Mhm.
It was the first fast grinding angle grinder in the market,
Yeah.
and it was enormous, really enormous.
Big.
And the company called that to that time still Ackermann and Schmidt, but due to the first flexible shaft, they had invented the name Flex, and it was such a cool machine because nobody else known this before in the market
Mhm.
that everybody said, "Wow, this is a Flex." And also in this time, they named the company in Company Flex, and since then, we are known for angle grinders, and everybody on
Everybody.
every construction site, even if it's from a competitor, they say in Germany,
Give me
please
the
give me
Give
the
me the
flex.
flex. Wow.
I have to flex
How
something.
cool is that?
Absolutely cool.
That is
But
way cool.
unfortunately, not all flex on the construction sites are from
From
Flex.
Flex.
Right.
It would be
Yeah.
much cooler if
It
they
was
all
all
have
flex.
a real Flex.
Right? Yeah.
But for sure, we are the only one who can say this is a Flex.
Yeah.
And of course, our
It's
angle
a true
grinders,
flex.
it's
Yeah.
a true Flex.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Chris, what's your favorite automotive?
I mean,
Tool.
I think Renny, from all the trainings we've been together at. I mean, I love the Beast.
Yeah.
I really push the Beast. The XC3401. I tell everybody, if you've never tried it, you really need to try it because it'll be your number one polisher in your arsenal. I would never tell you to get rid of any polisher that you have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you don't have the Beast, you're missing out.
There you go.
And 90% of the people that have never tried a Flex, they've just never tried the Beast. And and I see it at SEMA every year. I ask people, and when I put it in their hands and I give them a short training, it's eye opening to them. So it's really cool.
You guys tomorrow are going to get to meet the person that gave the Beast its name. The first person in the world to ever call the Beast, Bob Phillips.
Yeah.
Was
He's
it
going to
really?
be here. First person in the world.
Wow.
First person in the world. He named it. We were sitting there, and by Bob Eichelberg's, I can't remember who we were with, but Bob said it, and Bob looked at one of the Germans, and the German looked back at him, and it stuck.
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You'll get to meet him. Good
Yeah,
friend
that's
of mine. Good
Well,
guy.
hey, before we go, Renny,
Yeah.
I really
Hold on,
want
I
to.
got to tell you
Okay.
what my favorite is.
All right.
Oh,
yeah, let's
please,
hear it.
yes.
Yeah. The one that you guys are going to open up on August 1st.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
No, please stop it. Stop.
It's
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah, that thing's cool. That thing's cool. All
So
right.
before we close out,
Mhm.
I do have something for you, Renny. Christian Neuner, our CEO in Germany, he was unable to make it to this event, because he's getting in preparation for next week.
I
so we have
bet.
everybody coming in,
I
and
bet.
he has a very busy week next week. But he sent with our German colleagues a little gift for
Oh,
you,
this is cool.
Yep.
Thank you,
and
Christian. Thank
this
you.
is something special.
Christian's a good guy. Christian, when he there's a change of command, so to say, in military terms, Andreas was a good friend. I met Christian, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful man.
Down to earth.
I'm going to tell you already, Christian. Thank you. This is pretty cool. It's going to make my eyes sweat.
I think you'll like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Oh,
It's pretty sweet.
that is too cool.
And ironically, it's very similar to the watch you have on your wrist.
It is.
But I know you're a watch guy, and you love
I
to.
am.
You have a
I
bunch
am.
of different watches.
We're gonna try to
So-
get this in here and see if you guys can we'll hold it up.
And actually, underneath the back,
That's
it's
cool.
actually engraved, and it's our 100th anniversary. So it's a special edition unit
That is too cool. Thank you, guys.
presented to you. Thanks, Renny.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really
for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is really special, and Flex has been very, very special to me. You can tell. I know a lot of it. My first time to Germany was specifically for Flex and Sonex.
Yep.
I've gone back several times since then. You guys, follow Flex. They're great. Not just a great company, they're great people. And I think a product is only as good as its people.
Yeah.
You guys are great ambassadors to the industry. It's such a great time to be, in our industry. I never thought that I would be witness to being able to meet gentlemen like you. We just didn't have it years ago. We were really struggling. And to see the quality and the dedication and, smart young men like you coming into it, and Chris, with the friendships I've built up, this is it. So Christian, the entire team, thank you so much. Thanks, guys. And it's been great. We're going to go back and put you to work. They're way too clean.
Yeah.
We've got them hooked on, they're fun-sized guys, but we got them hooked on donuts. They're going to be a little chubbier by the time they go home.
There's definitely a picture of me out there sitting next to Bobby while he's working and I'm eating a donut.
Yeah, there you go. But you guys take care. Happy detailing all. Make sure to check out Flex. Watch August 1st, right?
August 1st,
Yes.
So August 1st, right after they blow what's going to happen, I'm going to blow out what I got, what I know, show some pictures, and I'm sure there's going to be some other ones, showing some pictures too. But we'll wait until then. Take care, everybody. Happy detailing. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.